Hi YouTube, this is Angie the Anti-Theist, and I am responding to Evangelical One's response to my video calling all apologists. He's responded with the Kalam cosmological, but he's got an argument that's a version of it that's even farther removed and makes bigger leaps and bounds from reality. So let's get into it. You started by saying, Evangelical One, that a good argument was one which was deductively valid and that had premises more plausibly true than not true. You also said that this was good evidence. I disagree that it's good evidence. An argument has to stand with the facts and not independently. Also, though, in your case, I don't think that your premises are more plausibly true than their negation. So that should be sufficient reason to, knock this down for you. You said that you were going to put it in the syllogism form of premise 1, if P then Q, premise 2, if Q then R, conclusion, if P then R. Now, in order for syllogism in this form to be valid, you have to actually show that your premises, if P then Q and if Q then R, are correct, and you failed to do this. You gave the values that P equals the universe began to exist, Q equals the universe had a creator, R equals God is that creator. And in other words, if the universe began to exist, then the universe had a creator. If the universe had a creator, then that creator is God. If the universe began to exist, God exists and he is the creator. So let me break this down step by step. Premise 1, if the universe began to exist, it has a creator. And you pointed out that in the past, people have used the term creation to describe the universe. Of course, this was when we were more ignorant of the world around us. You claim that it is implausible for the universe to begin without first having had a creator. We've got the obvious upfront problem with the Kalam cosmological argument, which is infinite regress. If the universe requires a creator and that creator is God, then who created God? Who or what made God? You can't claim that there is this a special rule exception that God doesn't need a creator but everything else does. You talked about, all of us, all animals and whatnot have creators, our parents. So you're using a very broad definition of creator here. Like, we know that mountains are created through plate tectonics. You're not talking about an intelligent force, because sexual reproduction of parents to offspring has nothing to do with design or intention. I mean, animals don't pick the genetic traits that they want in their offspring, except for through mating selection, which is part of natural selection, another natural process. So if this is your definition of creator, then our evolutionary ancestors are our creators as a species, single-celled microorganisms and natural processes. If you're saying that the universe began to exist via some natural process, well, that seems much more plausible to me than any concept of some kind of all-powerful creator doing it. I say this because we have extensive evidence for natural processes and reliable means of measuring them, whereas we don't have any credible, verifiable evidence for anything supernatural at all. You said that if there was no creator of any kind, there's no reason to expect the universe to come to be. And you said that it's much more plausible than not that if the universe began, it has a creator. Regarding your first point, I don't think it's that likely for our universe to exist. But then again, it only had to happen once. It didn't have to be very plausible at all. Look up the anthropic principle if you want more. But regarding the idea that it's more plausible that if the universe began to exist, it has a creator, only by the very broadest definition of creator, one that doesn't lead to your next premise at all. 2, if the universe had a creator, that creator is God. You said that if we can imagine a creator, quote, you already know he's the creator of the world. And, quote, we know this being transcends the universe. We usually call transcendent creators God. So if the universe has a creator, we may refer to him as God. This is ridiculous. You start by asking your listener to imagine a God, and then claim that you know things about this creator. What you're doing is relying on cultural archetypes about a creator God and then acting as though this meme existing somehow proves that the meme is true. Let me give an example. If Christmas is a holiday, then Santa is real. Imagine for a moment that Santa is real. What do we know about him? Well, we know that he's celebrated as part of Christmas, which is a holiday. Therefore, if there's a Christmas holiday, Santa is, we may refer to its celebrant as Santa. The fact that we can all imagine similar traits about Santa, that he's fat and jolly, drives a sleigh, wears a lot of red, does not do anything to show evidence for a real man named Santa who does supernatural things with reindeers and chimneys and space-time. All you're doing is begging the question and choosing to define creator, which, again, is only actually true for your first premise in the very broadest definition. Now you're choosing to define it as God with these specific traits without giving us reason to do so. And what's up with all this transcendent stuff? Anyway, we have no evidence of anything being transcendent outside of space and time, as the Christians often want to say about their God, who also interacts in this space and time a lot, according to the same people. You haven't shown that transcendent beings can or do exist. You claim that it is more plausible than the universe being created by something that is not a transcendent creator. This is not true. I mentioned natural processes as a possible creator of the universe that would not be transcendent. Again, this is more plausible since we know not natural processes at least exist. You can't just say, I want to call PR, and then pretend like your work is done. I mean, you could, but you'd be wrong. Your conclusion is that if the universe began to exist, then God exists and created it, claiming, you said that, P could not be true and not R also true because you think that you proved something here, which you didn't. Both your premises were invalid to begin with. Logic does not naturally and irresistibly follow that the universe existed because of some God, much less a specific Christian God. I mean, the best you're doing is making a deistic argument anyway. So not only does your logic have to be sound, but the premises have to be true. You have to show your work in math, in science, and in logic. You can't skip steps and hope that I share the same cultural assumptions that you do. What's more, evangelical one, this isn't the reason that you believe in God. This isn't why you call yourself a Christian. No one is persuaded to worship by these arguments. So if it's not good enough for you, why do you think it'll be good enough for me? Everybody on YouTube, have a great and godless and logical day. Peace.